Patreon subscribers can watch my bonus Worst Songs video about Iggy Azalea's 2023 release, as well as over 200 more exclusives, with a new one added every single week. Support the habit in 2024 at patreon.com/doseofbuckley. Once again, it's the end of the year, and once again, there are a bunch of topics that, even in the 100 plus videos I did in 2023, I either didn't get around to talking about, or intentionally avoided talking about for one reason or another. So, here's 5 stories I missed as we wrap up another craptastic year. Let's get the biggest one out of the way first. Israel v. Palestine. Jew bet your ass it's still going on. The Gaza Strip and West Bank have been contested now long before literally anyone watching this was born, and will probably continue long after we're dead. Things escalated this year though, and now the two groups are back at each other's throats in active combat, with the real losers being the civilians caught in the middle who, I don't know, would like to not be blown up by a rocket. Hot take, I know. But I don't want to talk about the conflict. I'm the guy who makes fun of pop culture, social media stars, and the occasional light political mockery when people complain about things that don't actually matter. I'm very aware that I'm not even fucking close to equipped to discuss geopolitical religious turf wars with any sort of intelligence. I know what I don't know, which is a major strength for any opinion-based entertainer. Sadly, that doesn't go for every other fucking idiot on YouTube, or every celebrity who felt the need to voice their opinions on what's going on over there. Like perhaps one of the worst examples I saw, XQC's Learning About the Israel-Palestine Conflict So You Don't Have To video. Tucked right in there beside videos like, was the moon landing fake? And these TikToks made my jaw hurt from laughing. He went on to do at least 2 other videos about the topic. If you rubbed XQC's last 2 brain cells together, you couldn't make a spark big enough to light a candle. He has nothing insightful to say about effectively anything, much less a deeply complex cultural war that's been effectively going on for about 100 years. All he knows is, chat, those are words that have been trending. Chat, I need to talk about this, chat, and then put the clips up on my YouTube, chat. Is that how you get views, chat? Yes, chat, that's how you do it. Chat, what is this Hamas? I think it is something you dip bread into, chat? Stay in your very narrow lane, XQC. And that goes for any other reaction video creators or commentary community creators, or terrible stand-up comedians, or Wonder Woman actresses. You're all effectively Wheel of Fortune contestants trying to play Jeopardy. Don't embarrass yourselves. Perhaps one of the most bizarre entertainment stories this year, the Lil Tay death hoax. So, there's this teenage girl named Lil Tay, and I guess she was a viral hit like 5 years ago when she was 11. But anyway, a post goes up on Instagram after like years of nothing that says they're grieving the sudden and tragic passing of Claire, presumably Lil Tay's real name, that both her and her brother have died, and that the circumstances surrounding it are still under investigation. It turns out, this is all bullshit. Lil Tay then announces that her dad is behind this, and that him and some guy were going to use her death to try and sell a crypto coin. And then, less than 2 months later, she releases a song, which is horrible of course, but it gets 7 million views and a bunch of weird perverts talking about how hot she got. Even though, in case you didn't do the math earlier, she's 16. So, no one knows the truth about the hoax because, let's face it, this song wasn't getting 7 million views if the fake death post hadn't happened. And also, it often takes longer than 2 months to put together an entire song and music video. So, it's all pretty sus, as the kids said 2 years ago. But ultimately, I skipped this story originally because I just didn't care. I had no idea who Lil Tay was before this. And I like to think I keep up with a lot of this dumb internet shit. I do it for those of you who don't. When I first saw that Lil Tay died, I felt like Lisa Simpson in the Australia episode seeing the Yahoo Serious Festival sign. I know those words, but that sign makes no sense. Anyway, Lil Tay is alive and well. And in 2 years, when she starts an OnlyFans like the Cash Me Outside girl did and made like $50 million, we'll know that it was never Lil Tay that died. It was human decency. In 2016, I said that Trump becoming president would be my comedy gold mine. The problem is that around the same time he was sworn into office, America collectively huffed the entire world's supply of airplane glue seemingly overnight. See, I was operating under the old rules, when you could make fun of politicians because we were all normal and not weird sycophants. We laughed for years at late-night hosts making Clinton oral office jokes, mocking how dumb George W. was, the time he fucked up the "fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me" expression, or even shitting on W's daddy, Bush Sr., and the time he puked at a diplomatic dinner in Japan. But at some point, a very, very large portion of the country decided to start treating a fat, rich, spray-tanned old landlord like a god, and making Trump jokes meant you were an evil lib. So I couldn't be bothered with the headaches anymore, which is the long way of telling you why I couldn't be bothered to talk about Trump being the first ever president to have both an official portrait and an official mugshot, as he was arrested in Fulton County, Georgia on felony charges in connection with the events to overturn the 2020 election. And of course, never one to let a money-making scheme slip through his fingers, his campaign started selling Trump mugshot shirts, posters, mugs of course, even Christmas stockings. Because when you're celebrating the birth of Jesus, you should also celebrate the second coming, right? All of them emblazoned with the slogan, "Never surrender," which is really funny because he literally surrendered to have this mugshot taken. Anyway, then people started calling him the most gangsta president. He's leaned into this by claiming that he had more indictments than Al Capone, which is of course not true. We know this because it came out of his mouth. But gangsta? He's been charged with trying to fix a popularity contest that would have resulted in him keeping his civil servant job. Meanwhile, Andrew Jackson killed a man in a duel after letting the man shoot him first, and lived with a bullet in his chest for nearly 40 years. Yeah, tell me again about how the guy doing allegedly illegal shit to save his job as head of the passport office or whatever the president does is a certified G. And in other rich guy people worship for some bizarre reason news, Elon Musk, who has mentioned a few times that he likes to speedrun Diablo, appears to be trying to speedrun the death of Twitter. Sorry, X. During an interview as part of the Deal Book conference, no idea what that is, he was asked about the advertisers leaving his platform. It's believed many are doing this because Elon's made Twitter entirely about him, and often interacts with known bigots or implies he's all in on conspiracies like the Great Replacement theory. He said,
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go yourself.
He then looked around the audience to zero reaction, like he was expecting cheers and applause and got nothing. Pretty sad, really. He then said it again to a few polite laughs, and then a third time to complete silence. Here's the problem, and I know this isn't going to sit well with some people, but you have Elon, who is very clearly a full-spectrum warrior, and that's fine, but he's running a social media platform. A man who doesn't understand how to interact with humans, and it's not his fault, it's a condition, I get it, trying to run a platform created for humans to interact with each other. It'd be like hiring a blind person to drive a school bus, or a woman to be an accountant. That's just a little joke about how women are stereotypically bad at math. And that's a joke about how women stereotypically don't get jokes, so you have to explain it to them. I'm just kidding, gals. Anyway, he then went on to say that if his company dies, it will be the advertisers' fault. And when the interviewer pushed back on that, he said, "We'll let Earth decide." Whatever that means. Elon is the richest man in the world. If he wants to have his own playground where people can say whatever drunk uncle shit they want, that Disney doesn't want appearing right beside an ad for the new Star Wars Max Rebo Secret Sith show or whatever the fuck garbage they're planning next, that's great. But if advertising is required to run it, and you are going to tell advertisers, "Fuck you, we don't need you," then it's your fault. And if you're the type of goober going, oh my god, I need to give $8 a month to Elon to save free speech. If you think a man worth $242 billion can't keep a fucking message board running if he wants, oh, then buddy, have I got a fucking bridge to sell you. The coolest part of this bridge? Buying it will let you say the N-word as many times as you want. No, I don't take Dogecoin. And finally, I talked a little about the rise of the Gen Z Puritans, the ew, there's too many sex scenes in movies these days whiners. But it's not just sex, it's violence too. Also, it's not just Gen Z. But before we get to that, let's get this sex out of the way. After the Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer was released, Twitter mouthpiece Jackson Hinkle tried to get ban GTA 6 trending, claiming that it's a sexualized video game for children. Every GTA game has been rated M. Of course, kids could get it, but parents could also be better at the responsibility they signed up for when they went a raw dogging. Plenty of other hot takes about that we could get into, but earlier in the year, I'm sure you recall a little motion picture called Cocaine Bear? A guy claiming to be a professor at Johns Hopkins said this, humorlessly and unironically. Disappointed to see Hollywood once again sensationalize cocaine use in the new film Cocaine Bear, which entertains audiences, including children, by portraying cocaine use as fun and funny. The cocaine epidemic is largely a demand-side problem that ruins lives, destroys families, orphans children, kills 25,000 Americans per year, and finances deadly cartel activity. We should all be offended by entertainment that makes light of drugs that are ripping apart our country. That's right. Your kid might see a bear do drugs and think, I want to be as cool as that bear. By the way, also not for children. The movie was rated R even in Canada, and we rated Oppenheimer PG-13. But yeah, let's keep blaming society's ills on violent video games, sexualized entertainment, and, bears doing drugs in movies. You know, I grew up watching shit like a cartoon rabbit seducing a man with a gun by dressing in drag, and I've never once tried to throw on a wig to stop an active shooter. Holy fuck. Maybe that's how we're supposed to solve mass shootings. Bugs, you slut! You had the answer this whole time!